I think the Steelers are going to be irrelevant by Thanksgiving.
What?
Yep.
Under?
I think they're by Thanksgiving. They're
You think Mike? You giving Mike Tomlin a losing season?
hey, this might be it. I think.
No. I
the
want an
train's
answer.
coming.
I want an answer.
I think the train's coming. I mean, their whole season, their literally whole
yes.
season
I would
hinges.
have said yes if Aaron Rodgers wasn't there.
I think their whole season hinges on this quarterback.
All About the Balls podcast
With Mark Davis, Chris Meinhardt, Luke Rule, Jake Winnikine, Alan Tomasello, and Nick the Doc Skirk. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to All About the Balls podcast. I'm Mark Davis, joined alongside three wonderful people, Chris Meinhardt, Alan Tomasello, and Luke Rule. And tonight, the four of us are going to talk the AFC North. That's right, the Cleveland Browns, Pittsburgh Steelers, Cincinnati Bengals, and the reigning AFC North champions, the Baltimore Ravens. And Luke, I'll start with you. You are the AFC North correspondent. You are the Ravens fan. This is your division. You know it better than the rest of us. How are you feeling tonight to talk about your division?
Yeah, I mean, feeling good. You know, used to be one of the best divisions in football, but I think they've taken a few steps back because some certain teams have poor front offices. So I think one team stands above the rest. Then but I had a great week. You know, I had Wade up here for 3 days. You know, I went on a nice little 4-day bender with him. Probably spent about $700 worth of alcohol between the two of us down in Nashville. But you know, Sydney hooked us up with great VIP seats. You know, friends and family seats.
And you probably had a few $100s that were for free too. So let's just be honest. You probably drank $1,000 worth.
Yeah. I know we had a couple bar tabs that were in the 300s. So yeah. So it was a good time though. We saw probably about 50 shows over 4 days. So it was good.
That's good.
Yeah, it was great. Great time. Spent a lot of money though.
Chris, you're a closet team for the Bengals and the Browns. So how are you feeling to talk about two teams you have some loyalties to at the moment?
Yep, feeling good. I mean, I'm not feeling good about the teams, but I myself am feeling good.
That's good. Alan, you somewhat are a closet Burrow fan. So how are you feeling?
Okay,
one of your quarterbacks that you love to ride throughout the season?
Whoa, pause after that one. I don't know. Like, I like where it's at. Their defense is going to be horrible. Fantasy football is going to be insane with this team because they're going to be in 40-point game shootouts. So that looks pretty good.
Yeah, and I have no loyalties to any of these four teams. But hey, like Luke said, this used to be one of the better divisions. But it's always fun to talk AFC North. Just a lot of stuff that likes to go on between these four teams. And three of the teams, well, all four teams are going to have some drama going on. But yes, only probably three of the teams are probably playoff bound potentially. And obviously the Ravens are going to probably win the division. But guys, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk the Cleveland Browns first. And let's just jump right into it. A lot of change for the Cleveland Browns this offseason. No quarterback that was on the team last year is currently there besides Deshaun Watson, but he's going to be on IR. So 4 new QBs, 2 new running backs. Nick Chubb's gone. They lost Elijah Moore. They don't have much weapons outside Jerry Jeudy. A young team. The 2025 Cleveland Browns. What do we think, boys?
Yeah, I mean, Deshaun Watson only played 12 games in his career. Don't think he's going to play anymore. So, I mean, you have that quarterback battle going. Allen knows Sanders leading the pack. So we'll see what
Dylan
happens
Gabriel
there.
traded potentially?
Yeah, which I find hard to believe because I think Dylan Gabriel was the head coach's pick and Shedeur Sanders was the owner pick, and you can see off their reaction. But hey, ball tells. Ball doesn't lie.
Head coach does not get he never gets what he wants. He didn't want Deshaun Watson's long-term contract like that, and he doesn't want this either, and he's not getting his way. He will probably fire at some point this season, which is unfortunate. Good coach, in my opinion.
I don't see them firing him because Kevin Stefanski is probably the only good thing that they've had over the last couple of years. I mean, they had Baker, but they handcuffed him, and he wasn't doing great. So, but I think that. Yeah, Shedeur Sanders has looked very impressive in this little mini camp that they got. I mean, they're not moving fast. It's not a good defense. It's not like anything special, but he's looked the best out of most of these quarterbacks. So I can see him making the roster and maybe Kenny Pickett or Dylan Gabriel getting shipped out. But as far as what they've added, I think that they got better in some positions. Their running back position, they still got Jerome Ford, who has been solid, decent, but Quinshon Judkins is a beast, and I think
Dylan Sampson is
we're gonna see
too.
that.
I like
So
Dylan Sampson.
yeah, I mean, I think that they did some good things. Do I think that this team is going to win a bunch of games? No, I don't think so. I don't think they're going to be competing for the worst pick in the league, though.
Yeah,
I think the top 5 pick.
No, this is no shot at you, Chris. I've been saying it. I think Saints, Browns, and unfortunately the Giants, because of the schedule, I think those are going to be around the bottom 3 teams. Maybe the Giants are better because of that talent. Luke, you said that last time. I agree with you. Like, they're probably a better team than they were last year, but tough schedule. Saints are just, unfortunately, we don't know what's going to happen with the quarterback situation neither, which we'll talk to them later on. But in the Browns, I think all 4 quarterbacks, no offense, Luke, I know you're a Flacco guy. Joe's old. He's a bridge quarterback. Kenny is, yes, Super Bowl champion quarterback last year, but he's not the guy. Dylan Gabriel is not going to work out, and Shador Sanders is not going to work out either. It's just, I think, unfortunately, they're just going to keep playing for quarterback until they find their next Baker Mayfield, which they once had, and it's just going to keep being a revolving door. This is back to the Cleveland Browns that we knew.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be real happy if Flacco's not the starter. He's the only quarterback that would worry me in week 2.
I mean, he's already taking naps, dude. He can't even practice day 1 of
Taking
fucking
rest
mandatory. Yeah, he's already tired.
He doesn't need practice.
he's already rushed.
He doesn't need it.
So I
You know what he
did.
did? You know what he did last 2 years ago? You think he practiced before he came off?
He came off.
No,
He came off
the couch and fucking won some games.
Well,
Yeah, I don't
Googled
think
it.
he needs to freaking practice.
Apparently, the first practice was more focused on like footwork, and Flacco was there. He was actually there mentoring the players. He just wasn't. He wasn't doing. Yeah, he was coaching essentially from.
I mean, it's basically what he is. I mean, yeah, I know he talked about in his press conference. He's not there to be a mentor, but he's really there to be a mentor. At this point in his career, I think he's almost 40, or he is 40. So, I mean, that's where he knows it's like he's a year-to-year kind of guy. And he said it, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. He's going to keep playing as long as somebody keeps paying him. So,
but I mean, I agree with that. I agree with you, Alan, too, what you were saying. I like the pieces they got in the draft. Like the 2 running backs, I love their studs. Trading back to get Mason Graham, that was put him next to Miles Garrett. That's going to be good. Carson Schwessinger from UCLA, he's a dog, too. He's as a linebacker. I mean, they have young talent coming up. It's just, I don't, it's like the Giants. I just don't trust the quarterback situation. And no knock at Shador or Gabriel. They're not the guys. I mean,
yeah, I mean, Joe Flacco stepped in and won comeback player of the year, won a playoff game and all that a couple years ago.
Yeah, but this team is completely different. Like they had Amari Cooper. The David Njoku is actually being utilized.
Exactly what I was about to say is that this is not the same pass catching group. So that's where they're going to struggle. They're going to have to run the ball. But I think that teams are going to stack the box on them, and I don't think that their offensive line is good enough to be able to get them open and to be able to move the ball consistently. Joe Flacco is going to be getting pressured. I don't think their offensive line is as good as it was, and I do think that they're not going to be competing for the worst pick. I think this division as a whole is going to be better, but I don't think that the Browns are going to be winning a bunch of games.
And they're over. I mean, not over. Their O-line's they're aging, and they have injury history now. Wills is gone, and he was a beast. So he's gone. You have other guys that are older, and they've had injury histories the last couple of years. And I just don't think any of these QBs. I mean, Joe Flacco's on a scrambler. Kenny Pickett can move, but I mean, he can't throw. And then Shador is actually a decent thrower, but is he going to take sacks? Is he actually going to try and be like Caleb Williams, be Superman? And Gabriel is just. I mean, I just don't think he's going to live up to any hype that he had in his 3rd round.
I think Gabriel is the one that's out, and I think that Shador Sanders is going to get playing time this year. I think that at some point they're going to put him in, and he's going to get the playing time. And I think that he's going to be
throw him in,
sell some tickets.
They'll throw him in when the season's over already.
Yeah, it's exactly
and that's fine. I mean, again, this team isn't making the playoffs. This team isn't going to win any playoff games. By the time that happens, they're going to put him in, sell some tickets, and I think that he'll have some respectable performances. Honestly, I'm impressed at what I'm seeing out of him in mini camps.
Yeah, I mean the quarterback rooms, that's a mess. They made no splashes in the wide receiver room. Your number 1 still Jerry Jeudy. After that, it completely dumps off. They did sign the hometown boy Fan and junior tight end. Excited to see him play. The only silver lining the Cleveland Browns have is the defense. I think
And is the
is
defense
still
going to be
studs.
better? It's going to be better because last year
I mean, they were top. They were in games.
points
they were
scored.
bad,
Sorry, points scored. They gave up a lot. That's what it was.
but most stats they were top 5, top 6. So,
Yeah,
I mean, they were
because the
still an elite
offense wore them
defense.
out. Yeah, the offense wore them out last year. It's honestly what it was.
I mean, the defense is still elite. It's just the offense is bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
it's really bad.
fire up
It's
some
bad.
David Njoku this year. Fire up David Njoku in fantasy football. Get him.
Only if Joe Flacco's the starter.
only if
Yeah, if
Flacco's the
Joe
quarterback.
Flacco,
If only the Flacco's the starter.
Hey, pick him up early in the year and then sell him off before Shador Sanders gets put in.
Over under for the Cleveland Browns is 4.5 too, boys.
4.5.
I'm going under. I'm 3 or 4 wins, and that's
Under.
I did 2. I had them 2-15 a couple nights ago. I was playing around with the Browns, and 2-15 is what I just tough schedule. Not much, like we said. The roster's not that good. I mean, they're young. It's not to say they're not good. They're just young and unproven, and their quarterbacks all suck.
I like the under too. I mean, it's gonna be QB carousel. I think depends on whoever the odd man out. I think the other 3 all play at some point this season.
Yeah,
I'm
going to go like
5 wins.
slightly over. Yeah, 5 wins. That's where I'm at.
There's the closet Shador fan and the closet Browns fan, Luke. We found them.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Allen wanted Shador Sanders as a Patriot last year. I actually went back and watched some clips. Allen actually wanted the Patriots to trade back out of 3 and draft Shador this year. Now he got Drake May. I will ask him before the season who would he prefer still. I mean, I am interested to hear that. But we'll talk that.
I think this is like the episode. I mean, I don't think we're talking either one of those teams after this.
No, I think we'll talk. I think we'll talk them still, like leading into the season a little bit, just because of the Patriots. I think are going to be exciting to watch.
I agree.
Do. So 2 overs and under, guys. I mean, that's the Cleveland Browns. It's going to be a long season, in my opinion, for this team.
It's gonna be a mess for them.
They'll sell tickets though.
Hey, good thing Myles Garrett got his money because he ain't gonna win a Super Bowl.
I agree. He will not win a Super Bowl in Cleveland. On to Chris's other closet team, the Cincinnati Bengals, a team that went 9-8 last year. Not too much excitement in the offseason whatsoever. Didn't really add too much. Didn't really lose too much. Now, I have a little asterisks on there, guys, because I have Shamar Stewart as added. Don't know if he's going to play or not. And I have losses as Trey Hendrickson because I don't think he's going to be there. So, guys, the 2025 Cincinnati Bengals, what do we expect from this team?
I expect nothing out of them, really. I really do. Well, I don't know. Cool. The offense is going to be really good, but the defense has gotten way worse than last year, and they're one of the worst defenses last year. They didn't add anybody really except Shamir Stewart to this defense that was there last year. I mean, and Shamir Stewart's not even practicing, so I mean,
he left. He left camp.
Oh yeah, he dipped out.
Knight and Carter are pretty good linebackers in college from South Carolina and Clemson.
Yeah, I mean,
Carter was one of the top linebackers from Clemson.
Yeah,
all the excitement is rookies. That's what it is. All excitement is rookies.
Yeah. You got 3.
But you said they didn't add anything. You said they didn't add anything. So
yeah, but
they got a couple like second and third rounder guys.
The Bengals' big excitement.
I mean, Knight was the second.
These rookies are about to get fucking exposed.
The Bengals' big excitement was getting.
Keep the same attitude when we talk Ravens and you talk about Starks in the backfield or in the secondary. Keep that same.
Yeah, listen. The Bengals traditionally are not as neat to add a lot of.
These guys are second and third round, fourth round guys.
Okay, and how many times has a first round pick been a bust? And how many times has a second or third round player?
Starts like Allen a little bit with that first round.
I know. Calm yourself down.
The Bengals probably got a fucking bust right now as a first rounder.
I mean, I think.
He might not even be on the team. Because he can re-enter the draft. I've seen that all over the timeline today.
Bo Jackson did that before with the but he got drafted by the Bucks.
Yeah, you can walk away.
He told the Bucks, if you draft me, and he went number 1 overall, I'm not playing. He didn't want to play for the Bucks because of how bad they were. He legit said, I'm not playing there. He re-entered the draft next year, and the Raiders took him. I'm not sure what round and all that, if it was supplemental or whatever, but he got drafted the previous year or the following year. I mean.
Yeah, I never even knew that was a thing.
Yeah, it's in the CBA. You can do
it's
it.
Very rare
for a very long time, but it's very rare. But I do think that this team, depending on the way that the schedules go, there were some close games last year that they probably should have won. I think that they can turn that around this year. And their over under is 9.5. I think that they can make a push for a playoffs. I think that this team can actually compete because their offense is going to be so outstanding. Their defense didn't get better, but at the same time, they did draft guys to fill holes, and the Bengals are not a team that traditionally go out and sign guys anyway. It's not like a team that traditionally they don't go out and get big name guys to do things. They draft guys. They keep guys on their rookie contracts, and then they let them walk.
Well,
That's
like
forever.
Big name guys don't want to go to the Bengals because they're historically a cheap organization.
Well, the big thing for them this year, I was trying to say,
And Cincinnati's not a super desirable city.
no, but the biggest thing though this year for them was they got Higgins and Chase to remain. That was their big off-season like splash moves because no one really thought T was going to stay. Well, they think they were going to be able to afford both of them, and he's still there.
And they're just going to leverage their defense because I don't know if Hendrickson's going to get a deal done or not.
But see, Luke, here's the thing, and
that changes. Hendrickson being gone changes their defense.
But see, Luke, this is the thing I don't like about the Bengals with you is because your narrative always with Burrow is he needs the wide receivers, but you bitched before about you wish Lamar had weapons. So which fucking narrative are we going to do with which quarterback? Because you want Lamar to have weapons, but when Joe Burrow has weapons, his defense sucks. You're fortunate your defense is very good, and it works out that way that Lamar is athletic enough to do his thing. And I like Lamar. I think he's a good regular season quarterback. But you're going to sit here and harp on Joe Burrow needing these guys. He came in the same year with T. Higgins, by the way, so you can't say T. Higgins made Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow was a first-round pick, so in your standards, that means Joe Burrow was really good coming into the league.
Well, and Joe Burrow has made a Super Bowl, and Lamar Jackson has.
Well, I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to argue that. That's here and there and there. But like the argument is, you've always said that you wish Lamar had weapons. Joe Burrow has weapons, but you're mad that or you get pissed off at the Bengals because yes, Trey Hendrickson's going through his thing. Trey Hendrickson's not doing. Again, he should maybe get a deal, but you want weapons in the Ravens, and the Bengals have that. So it's like, what narrative are we pushing here for which quarterback?
I don't know what narrative you're thinking I'm pushing.
Well, Chris, has he not said before? Lamar doesn't have weapons. Lamar doesn't have superstar talent. Doesn't have good wide receivers.
You can check out what happens to Joe Burrow when he loses Chase for a couple games. It's not the same. That's
going to happen to every quarterback.
Yeah, you take.
Lamar's done it with fucking nobody's is the first half of his career.
Yeah, but the point
we got old, washed-up wide receivers his first half career.
And every time
we just had our first 1,000-yard receiver that we drafted.
But when Lamar got eliminated early,
first-round wide receivers, though.
You guys have drafted more receivers and tight ends than the Bengals have in the first round. Chase is the only first-rounder. Higgins was not a first-rounder. He was a second-rounder.
One tight end was the first-rounder, and we got rid of him.
Drafted 4 guys in the first round for Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, well, they're fucking busts, most of them.
That's the thing is you said when Lamar
they were.
Okay, so we just talked about it then with first round compared to second and third. First round guys can be a bust.
And the Bengals schedule this year is not tough at all. As long as they get off to a fast start or a better start than they normally do, they can win games. They can win 10 games. I like what Alan said. I think they can go over. I think 10 or 11 wins is right where they're going to hover around because the offense is going to be better. I think Chase Brown is going to be utilized more. And I think Taj Brooks and Samaje Perine are going to be utilized in the sprinkle in there as well to help Chase Brown. Chase Brown's played pretty good ball. They just don't run the ball nearly as much. That's an issue.
And we see it every year. There's just games that go a different way because the way that the ball bounced. That's just how the NFL is. You have those seasons where you just got really decent teams that are putting out a lot of wins and everything seems to go right for them at the right moments. And then there's the flip side of that where they start losing those 1 point or 1 touchdown games or those close score games. And I think last year was that for the Bengals. And I think this year they can still be in those games. And I think things are going to flip a little bit because they do have a favorable schedule. And I think that they can get around 11. I'm going to say maybe even 12 if they get the bounces the right way, I think they can do that.
And they have a new
I don't think they get the bounces the right way because they're head coach.
Well, he's a dipshit.
He has lost some games. The only reason he's still a head coach is because they won in that Super Bowl run.
Yep, I agree with you there.
Head coach.
I agree with you there, Luke.
Because he definitely lost some games last year.
Yeah, if they have a bad year,
against the Ravens, the first game against the Ravens, he lost the game, and he didn't because Burrow had the one late turnover in the fourth quarter, and that sucked for Burrow. Okay, of course, going to have that, but you took the ball out of his hand in overtime and wanted a long fucking field goal, and that
ran it 3 times against the number 1 run defense.
Yeah, no, I think Zion Taylor's bad, but to back up what Alan was saying, I mean, the Bengals last year had 6 games that they lost. That was a 1-score So I mean, you take half of those and flip it to a win, then
That's 12
And-
wins right there because they were
and-
at 9. They were at 9. You flipped 3 of those games. That's 12 wins.
exactly.
we
And
just talked we talked to Commanders last week about how like they were in some of these games that could have gone the other way. So the same thing with the Bengals.
I mean, we shit the defense, and the defense is bad. Top 10 in takeaways last year, mid-pack in yardage. The defense doesn't need to be elite. The offense is elite. The defense doesn't need to be elite. They need to just do a
They
little
need
bit better.
They need Joe Brady as their fucking coach. That's my opinion. That's what they need.
I mean,
They need
Joe
to bring
Brady
Joe.
help the defense.
No, but you bring a new DC in. Al Golden's there, and we're going to see what he can do as a first year head coach or DC with the Cincinnati Bengals. That could change life in general. I mean, like, yeah,
No, I
maybe
love
these
that
players
idea.
weren't. Yeah, maybe these players weren't good last year with the defense coordinator, but maybe the new coaching scheme on the defense helps. I'm not saying it's going to, but we're also going to find out, in a few months.
No, I love that. I would love Joe Brady on the Bengals.
Oh, I mean, I would too.
And I'm
I
sure
think
Joe and Chase would love it.
yeah, anyone that.
Well,
Yeah.
For that to happen, they need to have a bad season and Zach Taylor get fired.
No, I don't think you need a bad season. I think if you're one and done in the playoffs, you just get a wild card spot and you lose, or you're 9-8 once again. You have that same season. I think if Zach Taylor can't go on deep run, I think they do fire him. I don't give a shit if they make the playoffs.
Hot take. I think you go 0-3-0-4 start the season, then conversations are going to be made.
I mean, their schedule is it.
Well, yeah,
that
they
tough?
lose. If they lose their first 2 games, they're going to have.
I mean,
issues.
First 4 games
Browns,
is
Jags.
Yeah, if they
Browns,
lose those 2
Jags,
games, then
Browns,
then,
Jags,
like,
Vikings.
if his seat's going to start heating up if he loses 2 of the first 3.
Well, over under's 9.5. Luke, I'm assuming you're going under.
Yeah, I'm going under. I think the Bengals only got worse this offseason.
I don't think they got worse. I think they stayed. I think the offense is going to be
I don't
better.
think they improved.
I think the offense will be better. I think they'll limit their turnovers a little bit. And I think the defense, like Chris said, if they just stay where they're at, I think they'll still be fine. I think they'll reverse some of those one-score games a little bit and get to 10 or 11 wins. Schedule's not that tough.
Yeah,
No,
I think
I mean,
schedule
they-
is really underrated when it comes to these situations, when it comes to saying who's going to get to how many wins and all that stuff. Schedule is really underrated. I said this before. And I think that they can get to 12 wins.
They won.
I'm going
they
over.
won-
I'm going over.
Yeah,
Sorry.
they won 9 last year. Like I said, 6 losses, 1 score. You flip 3 of those, you're over 9. And like everybody already hit, favorable schedule.
Yes or no question real quick. Is Tregerson going to be off the team before the season?
No.
I think he misses at least a game. I think he sits out at least week 1. He's going to do the same thing that what's his face with the Chiefs did.
Chris Jones.
Yeah.
Christian said
Yeah.
a couple
I
more
think that he
than
gets
one.
signed. I think they give
Set
him a
out
little
what?
bit more
2
money.
games? How many did Chris Jones sit out?
I think it
He
was
sitting
one
in-
because
he was sitting in the
Yeah.
owner's box,
I
wasn't
think
he?
he sat at 1 and
One of
Andy Reid said, "Hey, we need," or Chris Jones and Andy Reid kind of said, "Hey, we need you to be bound." And
Yeah, I think that's as far as it gets with Trey Hendrickson. I mean, if they drop the first game because of defense, I think we'll give you your $35 million a year and give in.
Yeah, I think that he gets signed. I think Joe Burrow coming out publicly this week and saying it's an issue and they need to get it resolved. I think that's going to move the needle on that.
all right, well, that's your Cincinnati Bengals, Chris. I know you're rooting hard for the Houday Nation this year, big time. I know you're rooting for them because it's excitement when they're good, and it's a little
Yeah,
rivalry with
just
the
root
Ravens.
for Joe and Chase.
That's the
I just
team.
root for the
That's-
offense. Just put
Yeah.
up good numbers.
Well, that's the Bengals, boys. Next up on the list is the Pittsburgh Steelers, and man, we saved them for the perfect time. Glad we waited a week. We got our wish. Aaron Rodgers is officially a Pittsburgh Steeler. DK Metcalf on the team. They got Darius Slay from the Eagles. I thought a pretty decent draft with Derek Carr and Caleb Johnson and a little Jack Sawyer. Yeah, you see the losses on the side there, the quarterbacks, but that they make up for it with Aaron Rodgers coming, Najee Harris and George Pickens. But guys, the Pittsburgh Steelers. What do we expect with the Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf connection?
Listen, I'm going to start off. I'm just going to say a lot of people are shitting on Aaron Rodgers. I know they look at the analytics of last year. Yeah, he didn't play well at the beginning. Also have to remember he was old as dirt and coming off of an Achilles injury. We saw the Achilles be an issue for Kirk Cousins in Atlanta. And I think that as the season went on, and yes, they brought in Devontae Adams, and that opened it up for him. He started to get better. And you look at his stats last year compared to Patrick Mahomes. He had 28 touchdowns and 11 interceptions, and Patrick Mahomes had 26 touchdowns and 11 interceptions during the season. So who had the worst season? I mean, yeah, Patrick Mahomes wasn't asked to do as much. The defense was a little bit, was the thing that got them all those wins. But we talk about what Patrick Mahomes is doing, and Aaron Rodgers, we're all like, oh, Aaron Rodgers was horrible last year, and he's going to be horrible this year because of, X, Y, and Z. But 28, if they get 28 touchdowns and 11 interceptions with this defense and this team, I think that they can win the division. Like, if that's the player that you're getting. I am a little bit concerned about their running backs. Their offensive line is better. It's better than what the Jets had for Aaron Rodgers. And obviously with TJ Watt in that defense, it's always going to be competitive. You got Mike Tomlin, who's been there forever, who's going to consistently put up a winning season. So I think that the outlook for the Steelers is being a little bit held down by a negative narrative on Aaron Rodgers that shouldn't actually be there, because he had a pretty good year comparative to the rest of the field, and it's just not Aaron Rodgers that we know. It's not the guy that is that MVP player from the Packers and all that we've been seeing over, that generational talent. There's that word, generational. He's not that guy anymore. But if he could just be what he was last year, this team is going to win games.
I don't know how Chris, you and Luke feel about the offensive line. I feel like it's an unknown because some of these guys, they were hurt last year, especially the younger guys. So what do they do now? The Jets, and I thought Steelers offensive line, I said it in one of me and Chris's group chats with all Steelers fans. It's the same offensive line. I mean, they were shit last year, but they're unknown because of the injuries last year. I believe the Steelers, real quick, same team, or it's a better team because it's a better receiver with DK, better quarterback with Aaron Rodgers, unknown offensive line, and the defense did get a little better. That's how I feel about the Pittsburgh Steelers.
They can win their first 4 games. They can win their first 4 games.
I mean, they're betting big. They're betting big on a quarterback. Can he unlock the playoff caliber roster, or
it's not even been that big on him? I mean, it's either that or roll out Mason Rudolph.
I would rather have Rodgers.
The big thing. That's the big thing. Yeah. Also, is like if Rodgers does get hurt. Bet. I mean, I know it's not a huge bet, but they made a big swing.
But Rodgers was good at the end of the season last year. I mean, he wasn't terrible. Like a lot of the games they were losing. I mean, yeah, they were 1-score games and up and down.
Defense also got terrible.
Defense did get worse when Saleh got fired.
I mean, he was playing good at the end of the season. Are we going to get that Aaron Rodgers, or are we going to get the beginning of the season Aaron Rodgers?
Probably
you just don't know.
I mean,
and then if he gets injured, what? Like Luke said, you have Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
But maybe Will Howard's ready by then.
Yeah, but we can't keep doing the what if with, because you can do it with any team. Like Rodgers wasn't hurt last year. I get it. He was hurt 2 years ago. Last year he was healthy. I mean, you can't keep saying he got hurt. Okay, what happens if fucking Lamar Jackson gets hurt? What happens if Joe Burrow gets hurt?
That's gonna be the same question.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like
I said, he's coming off of an Achilles injury, and it took him a while to heal from that. We know what the Achilles does, especially later in somebody's career. So as he got on into the season, he got better, and now you're giving him a talent like DK Metcalf. I mean, I just think that he can be the same guy that he was at the end of the year, and that's what you're going to get the rest of the year.
That's going to be interesting. He did
quite a bit of talent.
I mean, it's going to be interesting all around because you have Arthur Smith with him. So how does
another big person that I don't trust?
Yeah, I don't trust him
is Arthur Smith.
But it's been proven the Steelers don't need offense to win games. Like they did it last season. Like the offense was like dog shit, especially at the beginning of the season last year, and they're winning games.
And TJ's going to be there because, like I said, this was before we
no way they let him go.
Well, it's the Rodgers deal was very, very friendly. It's $10 million, obviously up front, and then if he hits his stuff, $19 million, that frees up TJ Watt. He's going to get paid. It's just matter when he does it. And the defense, like you said, Luke, it's good. It's solid. It's always been. It's one of the better ones. You get Darius Slay. I understand he's not he's not previous Darius Slay, but with him and Joey Porter Jr., it's not a bad combination. You have a great safety in Fitzpatrick. I mean, you have players out there all around that defense. It's a good squad on that side. It's just the question is, can Aaron Rodgers be comfortable with them running the ball a little more with Caleb Johnson and Jaylen Warren? Because that's going to be an interesting situation for Aaron Rodgers.
Well, Aaron Rodgers really isn't somebody that dumps the ball down either. And so I think Jalen Warren, what is his value? Because I think Jalen Warren's probably more of a pass catching back, and are they going to be able to capitalize on that? And then the other thing is, what is Caleb Johnson actually going to be? I mean, he's a rookie running back. We see rookie running backs be successful, but there's a lot of good rookie running backs, and the odds of having 6-7 good rookie running backs in the year is not as high as all right, there's 3 teams that hit on running backs, and those guys are good.
I mean, I do like Caleb Johnson though. He was very good at Iowa, and plus, he's used to wearing those colors. Pretty much identical
Black and yellow,
uniform.
yeah. And cold too.
Yeah, and cold. So,
it's cold.
he can. Yeah, he'll probably fit right in with Pittsburgh.
I mean, I'm excited. I still think they meet the quota. The quota is 8.5. That's Mike Tomlin. Now with Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he can definitely win 9. And I wouldn't be surprised now if the AFC North does somehow maybe sneak 3 playoff teams in. That's gonna be hard because the AFC West is loaded as well. So I mean, because we're all high, obviously, Luke, on the Bengals and Steelers a little bit compared to you, but yeah, AFC West we're gonna talk about them. They're very talented too, so they might have 3 teams. So it might be a good team getting left out.
I think the Steelers are going to be irrelevant by Thanksgiving.
What? Under?
I think they're by Thanksgiving. They're.
You giving Mike Tomlin a losing season?
Hey, this might be it. I think.
No. I wouldn't answer it. I wouldn't answer.
I think the train's coming. I mean, their whole season. Their literally whole season.
I would have said yes if Aaron Rodgers wasn't there.
I think their whole season hinges on this quarterback.
Well, so
that's it.
The rest of 2 of the other 3 AFC North teams relies on the quarterback.
I don't see a year where Mike Tomlin can't get 9 wins when he's done it with other guys that are not even equivalent to this year of Aaron Rodgers, like this age, 41, 42, however old he is. It's best QB he's had since Big Ben at this stage of a career too. And DK Metcalf.
And we've seen him win games and have a winning season with Mason Rudolph coming in to cover for an injured quarterback too.
Like the last month of a season.
Had a winning season with Lenny Wilson's husband too.
Yeah, Duck Hodges.
Hodges, how they're
they even had a 500 winning season when Mason Rudolph was also getting slammed by a helmet by Myles Garrett. And that was trash Mason Rudolph, too. That wasn't even the Mason Rudolph that actually looked good a couple of years ago to end the season, to get them the playoffs to lose to the Bills eventually. But, yeah, Pittsburgh Steelers, it's going to be the talk. It's going to be one of the teams of the year to watch, like entertainment-wise.
NFL knew Eric Rodgers was going there because they lined up all the teams for him. So it was week 1. Week 1 with the Jets. And he gets to play the Packers and Bears one last time.
Better. I mean, again, I said it earlier. I think that they can win the first 4 games. I think they can win the first 5 games pretty easily. That schedule is really easy. I mean, they do have a bye week 5, but right after that is the Cleveland Browns. I mean, that's when their season really is going to start. That's when we're going to see what that team really is after that. Because then you reel off Bengals, Packers, Colts, Chargers, Bengals, Bears, Bills. Like, okay, that's a tough stretch. But those first 6 games, they could be 6-0 by the end of it.
Not according to Chris.
No faith in your Patriots?
Hey, listen.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
He's like, make another year.
Damn.
Maybe another year.
Another year.
It depends on if Stephon Diggs is slinging that stuff on the sideline.
Should have had Ashton Genty to protect me.
We would definitely win more games.
Put him on that O-line.
Well, we'll see what the Pittsburgh Steelers do, what they are this year. Well, obviously, we'll see if Chris holds firm to that when we do our actual season predictions or what he has them at.
Holding firm.
We'll hold firm on that one. Well, that's the Pittsburgh Steelers, boys. Moving on to the Baltimore Ravens, the reigning 2-time AFC North champions. And, same thing as the Bengals. Not much excitement in the free agency period. Didn't really lose much. Didn't really add much. Yeah, you added Hopkins. I spelled his name wrong. There is an A supposed to be in there. You did add a Wuze, a corner, and then you had a good draft, I thought, Luke. You had the Malachi Starks, Mike Green. You hit on that. Emory Jones Jr., a little guard out there for you. And, of course, they fell short in the playoffs. That's what they do. Buffalo Bills beat them down by 2 points. Some key plays in there, bad play calling, in my opinion, as well. So the 2025 Baltimore Ravens, guys, lay it on me.
Yes, I'm assuming you want me to start. Yeah, I mean,
if you want.
it's pretty much same team. Added a couple, key pieces. Maybe we get that. Finally get an elite pass rusher. I know we had Kyle Van Noy, but he's not like the top tier pass rusher, even though he is coming off the couch a couple of years ago. He has proven to be a very good vet for us. But he gets to sit. Mike Green gets to sit with Kyle Van Noy and learn from him, and hopefully take over and maybe be our next elite pass rusher, because we haven't really had one since Suggs has left. So the biggest part of our defense that we're missing is that pass rusher. But then adding Malachi Starks, pretty much a good time to add him, because we our other safety went down, towards ACL, and he was going to be, a pretty good piece on defense. He was good last year with us. So yeah, offense is pretty much the same. No real changes. Added Hopkins. The big thing for our offense was re-signing Stanley. That was our That was our big like free agency piece, is re-signing Stanley to a new deal.
You're forgetting one guy, rightfully deserved, earned, Rashad Bateman.
Oh yeah, we'll keep Bateman. He was gonna be on the team either way, but yeah, he got re-signed again.
Very well deserved.
Second year in a row, he got an extension.
Yeah,
last offseason too.
He's worked hard. He's earned it. Chris, am I saying anything wrong there?
Nope.
I think he's earned it.
Earned it.
Okay.
Earned it.
Right. Hey, if he gets 9 touchdowns again this season, perfect.
Give him another 50, give him $30 million a year after that.
Yeah, Hey, we got him through like fucking 2029 now. So
the one gripe
for a while.
The one gripe I have, Luke, with your team, obviously amazing team, is Todd Monken in the playoffs. Play calling the last 2 years has been an issue. The Chiefs in 2023's NFL season, he wanted Lamar to outduel Mahomes. Obviously not the correct thing to do. Last year, I get it. You and Jake. It was actually you and Jake versus me. You don't need Derrick Henry to be Derrick Henry. Well, I'm sorry. You do need Derrick Henry to be Derrick Henry. This isn't fucking Justin Forsett. This isn't Keaton Mitchell. This isn't some fucking random guy. You paid Derrick Henry to be the guy. He killed the Steelers in the first round. He was averaging 5.2 yards a carry. You keep running him, you keep the Buffalo Bills off the field. You keep the MVP off the field with Josh Allen. You don't have to worry about him being Superman. Lamar can actually then be a play-action quarterback and actually get these guys involved. And Mark Andrews needs to stop being a piece of shit and catch the ball too. That's another issue, is your playmakers. Well, I want to say playmakers. I don't trust them as much, which is the argument we had earlier with the Bengals, is Lamar and Derrick Henry are the guys. The other guys around them have to step up, and so does the OC.
Yeah, we were also missing Zay Flowers in that game too, unfortunately. So it's also hurts a little bit. You lose your top wide receiver.
But you told us you didn't need him. You told us.
But Zay Flowers also made a huge mistake.
We don't need him like Joe Burrow needs Jamar Chase.
It sounded like you did. It sounded like you did. The guy you trusted, Mark Andrews.
You said Lamar's been able to do it.
And you did say before that game,
Joe Burrow hasn't even made the fucking playoffs in the last 2 years. So I don't want to hear about Joe Burrow.
But you did say, though, Lamar didn't need Zay Flowers to win that game, and you probably didn't need him.
All we really needed was Lamar and fucking some supporting cast. But no, we don't.
And
need
again, Lamar can't get it done in the playoffs.
Hey, if
3-5 in the playoffs.
Well, here, let's ask this question now, because Chris did have a little Q&A. I'll pop that little banner up right now. Is will Lamar finally break through and get to the Super Bowl this year? Is he going to be? Are they going to be the AFC champions this year?
So first of all, I have to chime in here, because the Ravens are the team that you just said it yourself. They didn't do anything. It's the exact same fucking question thing that you said about the Bengals, and the Bengals have a much easier schedule. You guys are staring 2-4 in its face, almost maybe 2-4. Maybe 2-4. It might be.
We started out 0-2 last year.
They did start off 0-2
we started off 0-2 last year and made the playoffs. So.
Chris, he went down to 1-5. Chris.
Okay, I'm just saying this schedule is not easy, and you don't have the playmakers.
I don't know.
Mark Andrews Mark Andrews a year later, after what he was last year, is Isaiah likely ever going to actually be the guy that they thought he was going to be, or who everybody thinks he is that one game when he has 28 fantasy points, 2 touchdowns, and fucking 150 yards receiving, and then that's all he does the entire year? Is he going to be that guy? I just don't see that happening. And so what else did you add? Yes, the running game is amazing. Yes, Lamar Jackson is phenomenal. And I've changed my tune on Lamar Jackson. I've changed it. All right. I was wrong, but this team does not have the weapons, especially this first 6 weeks. You got the Browns. You have to win that game. Obviously, you're probably going to win that game. Everybody knows that. But Bills, Lions, Chiefs, Texans, Rams, all before the bye week, you're staring at 2-4 or 1-5. And if you come out better than that, then that's a good season to start.
I actually have the. Can you read off the first 6 games? I mean, I have obviously I have week 1. Sorry, Luke.
Bills.
But I haven't been losing that game.
Okay, so it's Bills, Browns,
win.
All right, Lions,
win. I think
Chiefs.
they're beating. I think they're going to beat the Chiefs and the Lions.
Here's the problem. What do you got to do to beat the Lions? And it's to get to Goff, and they don't have the pass rushers.
I mean, I don't know. By the way, the Ravens
game last year.
Ravens were number 2 in sacks last year as a team.
I don't think that they have the individual guys. The offensive line for the Lions is amazing, and they have all of the weapons.
But didn't we talk about a team? I don't know which team it was a couple weeks ago where they don't have to have one guy. They can have a rotation of guys.
No, I agree with that. I do agree with that. I do.
And the Ravens were number 2 in sacks. I can't harp them. Now the Ravens' problem with me the only thing on their defense last year that was a problem. Well, obviously they start off very slow with the passing defense. Their turnovers they didn't get many of, and the defense did find a way the last couple months. They turned it around, and I will give them that. My thing is, and that's why I had the question up earlier. We know what the Ravens are going to be in the regular season. Will Lamar finally break through? That's just simple as can be. And it's not just Lamar. Like I said, to me, Todd Monken also needs to make it a little easy for him. That's how all offense coordinators do their team. It's not just a Lamar thing. But we asked it with Josh Allen. Will Josh finally get there? The same thing with Lamar. Is he finally going to break through this season?
I mean, he has to. If it's not this year, I mean, this is the most
because I think
team.
the Chiefs take a step back in my opinion a little bit. So the Chiefs aren't as dominant. I think it's the Bills and Ravens show this year. It's got to be one of those 2 teams. And so which one is going to break through?
And who won last year in the playoffs?
And I mean, yes, they did. And that's to me was the playmakers issues. These guys got to step up around Lamar. And I think they also need to utilize Henry more in the playoffs too.
That's exactly what I'm saying is that I don't think that they got better with their playmakers. And I think that the Bills actually got better as a team. And I think that this is not something, if the question is if the Chiefs are out of the question, can Lamar break through? And I don't think lining up on the opposite side of the field of Josh Allen, I can't tell you which one of those guys is the better quarterback, but I know who is still going to show up in that game, and it's going to be Josh Allen, and the Bills' defense is going to show up in that game.
Not necessarily. Josh Allen didn't play that good of a game in the playoffs. It was the Ravens fucking themselves.
Yeah, but Josh Allen took care of the ball. That was also
but that's what he did good is he didn't turn the ball over, and the Ravens
that's all it takes.
Turn the ball
that's
over.
all he has to do.
No, but that's who do you trust more to not be careless with the ball and take care of it? And which guy do you think is going to be the guy that's going to make bonehead mistakes? Now, I get it. Lamar played great in the second half. We said it a couple days ago. Lamar was great in the second half. That was the Mark Andrews issue was the second half. But Todd Monken also did not trust Derrick Henry throughout the game. And I'm going to keep harping on that until they utilize Derrick Henry in a fashion. I mean, they had no problem running him all over Pittsburgh. I don't know what changed the next week. I don't know why you wanted to have Lamar out-duel Josh Allen. It's the thing is when you play the big quarterbacks, the Mahomes and Allens and the Burrows, it's like Monken wants Lamar to look like this glorified superstar. And he is a superstar. He's a rock star. I will give him that. But you don't have to keep doing that to give him his flowers. Do what got you there. That's the key. Do what you
And that's the thing. They change what they do. Just like the year against the Chiefs in the playoffs when they were at home and he had like a freaking almost 80% pocket passing play calls. Like he was just in the pocket passing. That's not his. I'm not going to say he can't do that, but I'm saying like in that moment, you're taking away like 2 of the great things that he does just by sticking him in the pocket and making him a pocket passer. You're playing right into the defense when you do that. And that is Todd Monken. But again, it's also on the playmaker because those guys aren't doing anything. Those guys are catching the ball and getting tackled.
Yeah, I still think that's the Ravens' division. I mean, over-under is 11.5, and I do think they are a 12-win team. I think they're going to probably be the same amount of wins as last year, 12-5. Solid season. I think, Luke, you have no arguments with that one. I think 12-5 will win this division still.
Yeah, 12-5 puts you in the playoffs.
Oh, he definitely puts you in the playoff. I think it wins
Yeah.
the division, too. I think 12-5 wins this division.
Yeah, obviously I'm going to go over. I think about 13 wins is fair.
One more than last year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
13 wins is fair.
I will say that if they get through the gauntlet of the first 6 weeks, their schedule lightens up significantly, and I think that they can run off, some good wins late in the year. They've got Bears, Dolphins, Vikings, Browns, Jets. Like they've got some easy wins in there, and I think that they can do it. It's what that first 6 weeks is. And if they go into that first 6 or come out of that first 6 weeks 1-5, I can see them losing another game, and so that puts them at 11 wins at 11-6. So
I don't think the first 6 is that bad. Like some of the bigger, like Houston has to come to Baltimore, Los Angeles has to come all the way across the country to Baltimore, and historically, those West Coast teams traveling to the East Coast don't perform as well.
Okay, yeah,
at a noon kickoff.
I made that point quite a couple years ago, and I think I got shit on for that.
Well, I think you did with the Seahawks. The Seahawks.
I did it with the Seahawks.
But Pete Carroll historically with the Seahawks, that's he was the coach. He was actually very good as a coach that came to the East Coast. He was kind of like the rare ones to do it.
Yeah, I'm high on the Rams this year. I think that the Rams are going to be a tough out for pretty much any team. But I mean, still
good. Yeah.
But
I'm
still,
saying,
I think
it's a tough trip for a noon kickoff.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I thought you.
Yeah,
sorry. I was gonna say over under for. No, you guys are good. I thought Alan was done actually.
I didn't think.
I was just asking for. Oh, he paused for a second. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm delayed.
You're good. No, you're good. You're good. I was
just gonna ask over under.
You jumped to Chris. I'm good.
Well, I just want to over under for the both of you. That's all. I just want to over.
No, I mean, I think the Ravens won the division. It's still just that question about the playoffs.
But
I think it's over. I think it's over. Yeah, I think it's over.
Alan,
it's just. Yeah.
I would not even touch this and get close to it on a bet or anything like that. I'm not gonna. If I say under, it's like at 11 wins. Like, and I don't think they go below that. And if it's over, it's 12.
Yeah.
Like it's right there on that line. I think it's there.
I
understand that. I understand that.
Close.
Luke wants to know the fucking answers. What he wants to know.
Okay, Luke. If you want to know the answer that I'm going to go with right now, at where we're at in June 12th, I'm going to say that it's under right now. I'm going to say that it's at 11 wins.
11 wins still in the playoffs.
Oh, absolutely. I think you still win the division at 11 wins. I'm not arguing against that. I still think they win the division.
Yeah, we're not doubting, Luke, the Ravens being a playoff team. I think we definitely know that. Like Chris said, and that's why we asked is will Lamar break through?
And season healthy, make the playoffs and see what happens.
In a way, that's a compliment to your team because your team is that good to us where the Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles, it's a Super Bowl or bust for all those for like 4 or 5 teams. Like that's how good we are putting you in a tier. If you don't make the Super Bowl, it's a bust. And that's not just the Ravens. It's a couple other teams too.
It's been that for last couple of years.
Yeah. Since Lamar got paid, essentially, it's been a Super Bowl or bust.
Yeah, pretty much.
But,
which is where I was wrong. I was super wrong on Lamar Jackson. I thought that once his contract started kicking in and they were going to have to move off of guys, I thought that was going to be a big issue for them. But Lamar it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's on. He's good.
He's better get extended here soon because his cap hit is like $75 million coming up.
Well, guys, that's the Baltimore Ravens. Let's fire. Chris had a good idea. We're going to ask a little rapid questions in like next 5 to 7 minutes. So let's do it. I like the first question because we know Lamar. We know what Lamar is. Let's just say the Browns are not going to be good. So which quarterback do you trust more to take their team on a playoff push? Aaron Rodgers with the Steelers or Joe Burrow with the Bengals?
I think if the question is Aaron Rodgers to make a push for the playoffs or Joe Burrow to make a push for the playoffs,
push to go to the Super Bowl, like to make it like they can make a true playoff like push to get to the Super Bowl. That's what I'm sorry. That's what
all
I
right,
mean.
it's okay. So if the Steelers are successful, it's with Aaron Rodgers being 50 to 60% of what he used to be, and the defense being a big difference. And this might be the best defense that he's ever had. And then if the Bengals are going to make the Super Bowl, it's because of Joe Burrow in that offense. So
I trust Joe Burrow.
My
trust Joe
answer
Burrow.
is Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I trust Burrow to lead them farther. To make, I mean, we've seen it the last at least it was in 2021. Rodgers hasn't had that in a long time. I'm gonna go Burrow.
No, I just trust the offense for the Bengals more than the Steelers' offense.
Yeah, I mean, I would pick Burrow too. Now, if we're picking on defenses,
That's the first time Luke's ever gonna say I choose Burrow.
oh, I mean, we don't know what. I mean, we
Yeah,
kind of
no, I know.
pretty much know what Burrow's going to do. We have no clue what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. And now if we're picking defenses, I'm taking Steelers defense overall. I mean, Steelers defense can win them games single handedly with a shit offense. So, but if we're talking about just strictly quarterbacks, so yeah, it'd be Burrow.
And let's piggyback that real quick. Is what does a successful season with Aaron Rodgers look like? What is considered successful for Mr. Rodgers and the Steelers?
They got to get a playoff win.
Yeah, I do. I think
Yeah,
I agree.
Mike Tomlin has got to get that monkey off his back.
You haven't had a playoff win since 2016 season. I agree with you, Luke. You got to get a playoff win, and it's got to be this year with Rodgers.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. I don't think there's any debate on that. I think it's just about winning a playoff game, and that's a successful year for them.
I don't even think it's a playoff one. I think it's a late push playoffs. I mean, you're not signing Aaron Rodgers to a 1-year deal just to try to win a playoff game. You're not.
Wait, are you saying that they have to do
Simple.
more in the playoffs?
Aaron Rodgers getting paid less than Danny.
I'm not
Dimes,
saying-
so. I'm not too hung up on this contract about signing Rodgers. Rodgers has basically got signed to backup quarterback money.
He did, and the thing is,
Danny Dimes gets paid more than Aaron Rodgers.
he's still better than every quarterback that they had on the team last year, and I think that difference is just going to come in on what they do in the playoffs. Yes, but I don't think that a successful year should be dependent on them making a deep playoff run, or even winning a game or winning 2 playoff games, maybe AFC Championship or something like that, or even I just don't think that's realistic for this team.
All right. Well, which coach in the division has the hottest hot seat? And it's Zach Taylor. If you ask me,
Zach
Taylor for me
Taylor.
too.
I do think we get two. I think we get 2 coaches fired this year. I think both Ohio teams are going to fire the coach. And I hate it for Stefanski. I love him, but I just think it's enough.
He dealt bad hand with the owners.
And that's the thing. The owners are going to use their little power. But the hottest seat, though, should be Zach Taylor. And it should have been, like Luke said, he got to the Super Bowl and it saved him.
All right, so if it's hottest seat, then okay, yeah, it's probably Zach Taylor. But something controversial that I will say,
Oh, here we go.
Steelers do not.
No, I'm the hardball guy. Remember, Luke?
Yeah, he's the hardball guy. Steelers do not get rid of coaches. But I do feel like part of this year, this season, this offseason, them going out, making the big splash for the trade for DK Metcalf, out of category for them because they always trade their guys away and just draft somebody. But no, they went out, traded for somebody in a huge extension. And then you go out and you get Aaron Rodgers. And that is completely off par from what they normally do, especially with Mike Tomlin, for them to bring in this guy and kind of hit your season to what he's going to be able to bring to your season. I kind of feel like this might be that last ditch effort for them to be successful. And if it's not, it might be Mike Tomlin.
No, yeah, Mike Tomlin, that was a big one, Luke, last year, or a couple years ago. I think we were talking like Harbaugh, Peyton, Mike McCarthy.
Tomlin was a big talking point this offseason.
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
it's just, but like Alan said, though, they're just too loyal.
Mike Tomlin, he's not going anywhere. Like, the players love him. I think the Steelers organization love him. Now, if he has a terrible season, maybe they have like 4 wins, and it's a different conversation.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, is if and not even a terrible season, if they have under 500, if they win 8 games, and you made all of these things, you went and did all of these things that you don't normally do. You just went so far left field from what your organization is all about. It just feels like this is all or nothing. Not all or nothing for a Super Bowl, because I don't think that should be the expectation, but all or nothing in let's have a playoff run. Let's win a playoff game. And if you don't make the playoffs, if you don't get over 500, it might be Mike Tomlin at the end of the season.
One last question. We got 2 minutes. I don't even need your 1 through 4. Who's the best quarterback in this division?
Lamar.
I think with the team wise, it's Lamar with the defense backing him
No.
up.
Who's the best quarterback? I don't want to hear about, okay, one's got a better situation. Best quarterback.
Joe Chill.
It's Joe Burrow. Joe's fucking cool.
He's real cool watching home playoffs.
Yep.
Luke, I'm assuming you're going Lamar.
Yeah, I said Lamar already. Yeah, Lamar's got a better career passer rating too. So I mean,
I'll say as of late, Lamar is the better quarterback. What I've seen the last 2 years, if you're going what they've been doing, I don't care about the talent around him. Lamar has been the better quarterback the last 2 years.
I would argue that and say last year that Joe Burrow had statistically the best season
I'll give him the
out of
stats.
every quarterback.
Yeah.
And the reason why he wasn't in any MVP conversation was because of the defense and the way that the team played. Yes, he had like a late game interception, and that was on him. But outside of that, he played phenomenal all season long.
No.
Well, you get put in certain situations where you have to air the ball out, or in the fourth quarter, the Ravens are just running the ball out. So the stats are a little subjective there. If Burrow's fighting to win games in the fourth quarter, and
but
Lamar's
you don't have to
just chilling, your stats will be different.
You don't have to lean on Lamar's legs anymore because you got Derrick Henry back there. So you wear down the defense. You lean on Derrick Henry more now. So like, okay, I'm just thinking stat for stat. I'm thinking what a quarterback does. And I'm not saying Lamar's not a quarterback. He proved that. But Joe Burrow, I think, is the better quarterback. Lamar Jackson's the better player. Joe Burrow is the better quarterback.
All right. Well, good episode, boys. Fiery. I was waiting for this one. AFC North talk between Bengals and the Ravens is always going to be a fun one. That's why 2025 is going to be electric. Hopefully the Bengals are good, so it stays electric. Guys, I loved it. I'm glad you guys were in here tonight. Yeah, well, yeah. Christian muted, so yeah. You're trying.
Thanks for having us in the Sack House, Mark.
Well, boys, this was a good one. Next week, NFC North. Hopefully, Doc's in here. It is his division. I doubt he will be here, but we will talk Bears, Lions, Packers, and Vikings. And hopefully next week is just as good as this week. I think it was the best episode so far. That's Chris Meinhardt. That's Luke Rule. That's Alan Tomasella. I'm Mark Davis. This is All About the Boss podcast. And according to Luke, Lamar Jackson is better than Joe Burrow. We are out.
Thank you for checking out another episode of All About the Balls podcast. We want to thank all of our listeners and supporters of the Sack House. You can listen to the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe and give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at The Sack House.